Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Oh, okay. Pete starts with a good question. So today I'm eating something with the bagels I made this weekend. And oh my God, Pete started with a good question. I never heard of lox. What is that? So lox are smoked salmon. They're smoked and cured salmon. It's very common. I think in the U.S. in general, you can find it usually, but I live on the East Coast. I don't know what's going on in the Midwest or in the West Coast. I'm not sure, but it's a very common bagel topping on the East Coast. And lox is just I learned this today. I said a few days ago, maybe over the weekend when I was chatting with you guys, I said, I think lox is a Yiddish word. It is a Yiddish word for salmon. So lox is just a Yiddish word for salmon. So we're going to be eating a vegan version of it today, though. I don't eat salmon. I made on stream, if you're curious, I made this on Saturday stream, and the VOD is still on Twitch. I made smoked tomatoes with you guys, and it's really easy. The only thing is you need kind of a special equipment. You need I use an indoor smoker. You can, if you have a real smoker, like an outdoor one, you could probably do that. But I have an indoor smoker, and it worked out really well. I mean, I make it all the time, so of course it worked out well. But I showed it to you guys, and it came out really good. And I'm going to eat that today. But yeah, that was a really good question, Pete, because I was actually going to talk about that today. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more later when there's more people in. But yeah, lox is a really common food here, and it's common to put the lox on bagels with cream cheese. So I have the bagels here, and all of you, I don't know, let me go back to you're never going to believe it, but I lost the chat again. Like the chat's not here anymore. But I'm not going to freak out like I did last time. I have a pop-out chat over here. It's I know I see Pete's here. So I can see it when the pop-out chat now. It's a little bit more annoying than if I just had the regular chat here, but it'll do. So that shows how technologically challenged I am. But I got it here. I can see it. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes. You all, whoever was here on the weekend, if you underestimated me and my husband, you were like, oh, they're not going to eat all those bagels. I made 18 bagels. They're kind of small bagels. Like, I'll put this back. I cut this one really wonky. I'm going to be honest. I don't have good coordination. Oh, actually, is this not like a matching one? Who knows? I think it's a matching one. But I did cut this one a little wonky. But they're pretty small bagels. Right? But I made 18. We need 18. We ate 15 of them so far. We ate 15. There's 3 left. Yeah, there's 3 left. My husband and I ate 15 bagels. So we had 4 days, I guess, if you count today, to eat 15 bagels. That's like 5 a day. We went through like 5 a day, let's say. And that makes sense because, like, congrats. There's 2 of us, and say I eat 2 bagels a day and my husband ate 3 a day. You guys totally underestimated us. You almost had me second guessing myself. I thought, oh, are these too many bagels? And no, they weren't too many bagels. We were fine. But I did freeze this one. Because I wanted to show you that freezing bread is great. And I sliced it first. I sliced it wonky, but I sliced it first. I would get full of 1. Well, yeah, I ate 1, like, say, in the morning, and then I would eat 1 in the afternoon, if that makes sense. So it wasn't just like I ate, like, 3 bagels in 1 sitting. But yeah, I understand. They can be filling. But you guys just underestimated us, is essentially what's happening. But yeah, I froze this. I sliced it, and then I put it in the freezer. And then out of the freezer, I just put it right in the toaster oven, maybe for 5 minutes or so. And it's really good. So if you aren't going to eat all 18 bagels in one day or in 3 days, freeze them. And your bread too. Your loaves of bread, I would slice it and then freeze it, and you could just take it right from the freezer into your toaster oven or your toaster, and it's like the same. It's the same. It's so good. So I have this is a crazy experiment. Since I have cheese that I made and then I baked it to see if I can get it thicker. Basically, it's not what I want. It's not quite what I want. One day I will get you the recipe for this cheese I keep talking about. I keep mentioning, oh, I'm experimenting with making my own cheese, and then I never tell you how to do it because I feel like it's not ready, and it also is fermented, and I don't want you to get moldy cheese, like the bad kind of moldy cheese. So, but I'm gonna use it. It's fine. It tastes really good, but it's still thin. I'm trying to get it a thicker texture. I have some ideas. If anyone has ideas for vegan cheese, put it in the chat. I'm trying not to just make a cashew cream cheese, essentially. I want it to be thick, but this is still thin. But it tastes really good. It does taste really good. It's really sour from the fermentedness of it, and I love that. Spread it. Yes, I'm going to spread it. So I have the cream cheese here that I made in like, oops, trying to make a mess. And like I said, I don't have a recipe for it yet, but any vegans in the house, I really like Miyoko's cream cheese. I know that might be a controversial take because some people think it's too sour, but I love it. But I guess a lot of people like Violife cream cheese. I've heard people like that one. That one's okay to me, but my husband likes that one. But if I had to go for a classic cream cheese, I would go for Tofutti. Tofutti's a classic. I think it's a similar formula to Violife, honestly. It's a oil-based, they solidify the palm oil or coconut oil, to make it spreadable, and Pete's got a good point there, but they solidify the oil to make it spreadable and, add add-ins to it, and it's not great, but it is a classic, and Tofutti's pretty good. But oh my god, Pete had a good point. Like, if you don't want to bother with cheese and you're a vegan, you could also use something like avocado. I'm trying to get it so you can see my plate, but I also don't want to spill on me. I'll move this back. Okay. You can also get avocado and make avocado toast with your bagels. I make peanut butter toast with my bagels, usually. I actually don't usually use cream cheese and lox or tomato lox. I usually use peanut butter. So there's that. You don't have to use cream cheese. But there's always something special about cream cheese and lox. So here's my, it should be thinner. I should have cut it thinner, but it's still going to taste really good. This is my tomato lox. This one feels good and nice, and so they should be mushy. Some of them are a little too not mushy. And we made this on stream on Saturday. So if you're interested, go for it. If you're a vegan, you might be familiar with carrot lox. But I think this is better than carrot lox, in my humble opinion, my very humble opinion. I think tomato lox are better. But carrot lox are also an option. I think they brine the carrots, but they don't smoke them, though. I think they just add smoked paprika to make it taste smoky. But yeah, here's my bagels and lox spread. Some people will also add onions and capers to it, but this is how I would usually eat it. Now, the bagel, I'm using a rye bagel. Rye is my favorite. Rye's my favorite. Thank you, Pete. And what was they saying? Yeah, rye's my favorite. And then the cream cheese should be creamy. The lox should be smoky and salty. It's a perfect combination, and you should try it if you haven't. So let me take a bite. I'm not losing my hair. Yeah, it's good. So if you're missing like a New York style breakfast, this is where it's at, in my opinion. But I was going to ask you guys a question, um, if you don't mind. So I would consider this bagel cream cheese lox kind of spread to be a classic Sunday breakfast. Like on Sunday, we would get a lot of bagels. We probably already have cream cheese in the house, but we might get lox from the bagel shop. If we're feeling fancy, if we want to spoil ourselves, we'd get lox from the bagel shop, and then we'd have like a bagel and lox, almost like brunch. So, do you guys have any foods that you eat on Sunday that you consider like a classic Sunday food? Maybe like something that reminds you of those lazy Sundays with your family. It might be cultural food. It might just be something your family does. I would consider this more of a cultural thing because I think a lot of people eat it on Sunday, not just me. Oh my God, Pete says bacon. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like pancakes and bacon would be a good example, or French toast. Like a lot of, I feel like it's a lot of breakfast foods usually on Sunday. You just eat breakfast for all day, maybe. But yeah, for the vegans in the chat, of course, tempeh bacon is good. Eggplant bacon. My husband loves eggplant bacon, loves it. But I know some people do things like, I've never done this, rice paper bacon, and I've never done that. Coconut bacon, I've never done. I have done mushroom bacon. I didn't like it the first time I made it, but I think I'm going to try it again. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to make vegan bacon. Oh my God, Pete said never tried those. They're not. The thing with vegan bacon is it's not exactly like bacon. I think it's hard to imitate bacon. But out of the ones I've tried, my favorite is tempeh bacon, which is made with soy, and it's a soy product that's fermented and like pressed together. Tempeh in general is really good, and I think tempeh bacon is. It doesn't to be honest, it does not taste like bacon, but it is smoky and it is yummy. So they sell it next to the tofu at the store. Like you can get it already made, like pre-made tempeh bacon. So try it if you're curious. So some updates. Okay, Mom says smoked tomatoes. Yes, okay, Mom. We made smoked tomatoes on Saturday, and now I'm eating them. So I have a pumpernickel. Oh, it's actually a rye bagel with some of my homemade cream cheese that I'm working on. Yeah, it's homemade cream cheese that I'm working on. It's not quite right, but it tastes fine. So we'll keep working on it. I have some ideas. I have a lot of ideas up here, They don't always pan out, but I'm going to try. And then the smoked tomatoes. which we made on stream on Saturday. All I did was I sliced the tomatoes. I could have sliced them thinner, but I think I didn't slice them that thin because they were a little mushy already. So I didn't want to get them too uh, mushy. But yeah, I could have sliced them a little thinner. But basically, all I do was I put them in the smoker with the wood chips on the bottom for 12 minutes on medium heat for 12 minutes, and then I turn off the smoker and I leave it in there for another 2 minutes or so until it like kind of softens up a little bit more, and then I put it in here overnight in the fridge, before I do that I salt it a little bit, but then I put it in here overnight in the fridge, and it gets even better the next day. You can eat it right away, but it gets better when it's marinating its own smoky juices. So, yeah, that's what we did on Saturday. If you're interested, it was towards the end of the screen. Not the screen. The end of the stream. It was towards the end of the stream. And Mattress Demon says, I want a bite. I guess you can come get a bite, but I might be done by the time you get here. I don't know how many miles you are away, Mattress Demon. I expect it would be a long run. But it would be worth it. It would be totally worth it. But yeah, I have some updates. So I did update the bagel recipe on my blog to include 2 variations. I included the rye one and the blueberry one. This one's the rye one that I'm eating now. If those of you, some of you might have been here on Sunday, and you remember that the seeds didn't stick to the some of them didn't stick to the sesame bagel. And I tried to do some research about why that might be. And I think I figured it out. So I think I waited too long for them to cool before I added the seeds. So basically, after I boiled them, I took them out and waited for them to cool before touching them. But I should have done it faster. Like I let them sit there for a while before I put the seeds on, and I think they lost some of their moisture and some of their stick. That makes sense too, because some of the seeds stuck okay. I didn't realize that until after the stream, and I touched them a little bit more. Some of them had more seeds stuck to them than others. And that would make sense because some of them I let cool for less time than others. So Mattress Demon says, I always put salt on cookies before they cool down too. Yeah, but the thing is, I boiled the bagels, then I put the sesame seeds on the bagels, and then I baked them. So it's like a 3-step process. And after they come out of the boiling water, they're really hot. You shouldn't just touch them right away. But I let them sit for like 10 minutes. It was way too long. So that's what I'm going to try to do next time. Not wait as long and see what happens. And if that's the only issue, then I'll repost I won't repost it, but I'll update the bagel recipe to include the seeds. But I just have to test it out. But yeah, I think that's all it was. I honestly don't think it was really that big of a problem. It was such a minor thing. But it's good to make mistakes like that, because then you realize not to do that, right? There's such a small mistake, but you realize, not to do it. But yeah, that's the first update, was the bagel recipe. Second update. This Sunday, my stream this weekend is moving to Sunday. That might be good for some of you. Some of you, I think, come to my Sunday streams more often than my Saturday ones. But my stream this week is moving to Sunday because on Sunday, I'm going to be streaming with my sister. So I'll get more details once we get closer. We want to test some stuff out. But I'm going to be streaming making ciabatta. And I'm going to be streaming most of the day. So it's going to be a big day. Mattress Demon asked, is she cool? kinda. She's all right. Let's just say that she's all right. But we're gonna be streaming all day, pretty much. Well, I will be. I'll be streaming in the morning, and then I'm gonna take a break. And then when I come back in the afternoon, uh, my sister's going to be with me, and she's gonna be playing Palia. I've seen her stream that game before, but I don't know too much about it. But that's a game she's playing, and I think she's doing a section of the game where she cooks. And I'm going to be making ciabatta, which is a bread that she suggested. She says it's her favorite. So I said, okay, I have to make that, and we have to stream together to celebrate me becoming an affiliate. I know it's been a week already, but I still think we need to do something. So, yeah. Happy Wednesday to Bear Fan. Welcome to the chat. How are you doing? How is your Wednesday going? But yeah, so the beginning, just like I usually do, the beginning of the stream, the first half of the stream, I'll just be making the dough. Then I'll let it, rise. And I'm going to try to get it all done in one day. I'm testing it out tomorrow. So I'm testing out a 1-day ciabatta recipe tomorrow. I usually do it in 2 days. I usually do most of my breads in 2 days, but I'm going to try it one day. And so I'm going to up the inoculation level, which basically means I'm going to put more sourdough starter in it to get it to rise faster. And then hopefully I can just, since it's rising faster, I'll get it in the oven quicker, and then it'll be baked in one day. And hopefully that doesn't affect the outcome. It doesn't degrade the quality, anyway. So we're trying that tomorrow. Busy. The Bear Fence is busy. Back therapy in the morning. Shopping after, and knee injection after. Now I'm home relaxing. Oh, the Bear Fan, I hope you feel better with all that back therapy and knee injection. I hope your back and knee are okay. But I'm glad you're home now, relaxing. That's good. That's good. The Bear Fan, I believe you were here on Saturday. These are the lox we made on Saturday. So I just said to everyone else, I think they could have been a little thinner, but they are delicious, just like they always are. Yeah, they're really good. I really suggest, even those of you out there who aren't vegans, who would eat salmon lox, try smoked tomatoes. They're really good. It's one of those things that I think everyone would like if you like smoky food. Another thing I think everyone would like, that everyone should try, and I'll make it on stream one time, not right now, but one time, is chickpea salad. I said I mentioned this before. So chickpea salad, mayonnaise and chickpeas mashed up together. It's good. You have to trust me. So yeah, exciting stuff happening this weekend. I'm really excited for that. For streaming with my sister, and she's been really helpful with all this. She's someone who told me to start twitching. I know that might not be politically correct, but I think it's funny. But she's the one who told me to go on Twitch. As you know, I'm not like a gamer or anything like that, so I would have probably not even know this really was an avenue for me if it wasn't for her. And I'm excited to stream with her on Sunday. She's also helped me with all the technical stuff and just a lot of stuff. She's been really helpful. So thanks to her. I don't think she's here, but she might come in later. Okay. So the third update, and I did update my website, but I haven't told anyone else yet. So you guys are getting the scoop. The Bear Fan said she finally played a scary game. Too bad it was her emote and not real cam. Would have been fun. Oh yeah, I think that was last night. She played, I forgot what it's called. No, no. I don't remember what it's called, but it was the one where there's little astronauts. And the little astronauts are looking for monsters. But the monsters that I saw looked like children in Halloween costumes. It looked like a child in a ghost costume holding a knife. And I was just like, what is that? I wanted a monster. Oh my god, Pete says Lethalambany. That is not the name of the game. Not the name of the game. I don't know what that means. But I was waiting for a monster. But yeah, she did. She played the little astronaut game, and they had a camera and they had the videotape. Oh, keyboard. Lethal Company. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was Lethal Company. It did have a weird name. But yeah, she did play that. And that looked like a fun game. That was different for her. She's branching out. She's branching out. But yeah, that was good. That was fun yesterday. For those of you who don't know, let me see if I can try Shadow. I don't think she's in here, but can I still shout her out if she's not even in here? Oh wait. What's a shout out? What's the command for shout out? It's not SO? \SO, right? No, it's not. Oh, it's just \shout out. Okay, got it. X. Oh, yeah, I did it. Look at that. So that's my sister's screen name. So for those of you who don't know, I think a lot of you in here already know. But she is great. She usually streams things like Toontown and I don't know, Animal Crossing, things like that. But last night she did stream a scarier game. Sometimes she streams Final Fantasy. So she does a few different things, but it's usually things like Animal Crossing and Toontown. If you guys are interested, and she's great because she's my sister, and it just runs in our family that we're great. So if you are so interested, go for it. But yes, and I will be streaming with her on Sunday, like I said. So another thing I wanted to mention is that I updated my website. All right, Pete, I'll see you soon. I updated my website to include instructions for ordering because I will be starting up my cottage bakery soon. Now, that probably doesn't affect any of you really, but I just thought you might be curious because you come here and watch me bake. So, because I'm only allowed to sell in New Jersey, I'm not allowed to ship it out. And I honestly don't really want to worry about shipping it out because it sounds like a pain in the butt. But it doesn't matter because I'm not allowed to do it anyway with a cottage license in New Jersey. So I think when's the first week I'm going to start? I think I'm going to start May 24th as my first day this year selling the bread. So and I updated my website with the menu and I had to update the prices and you know, I included some ordering instructions, but I need to be more specific once it gets closer. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys that that's happening. So that's exciting for me. You know, when I last year and when I came back from my trip and everything that happened, I started working as a teacher again. I was like, oh man, like I feel like I don't have time to run the cottage bakery anymore. And I kind of felt overwhelmed. But now I'm excited. I'm pumped up again to do it. And now that the semester's almost over, is what I mean. The semester's almost over, so I feel like pumped up again to sell them the bread. So that's exciting. So and you can follow my Instagram, which is just at Jersey Girl Bread Shop. The link is also on my Twitch page. You can follow my Instagram to see more updates. Most of my Instagram followers I got from the Cottage Bakery, not from like Twitch or anything. So most of my customers are following me through there. So that's where I'll post updates about the Cottage Bakery. So if you're just curious about that, or maybe you are in New Jersey and you want some bread, but if you're just curious about how that's going, I will make more updates on there. But yeah, that's the third update. I believe that's all the updates. Um, but yeah, how is I think I already know how some of your Wednesdays are going. The Bear fan answered. How is everyone else's Wednesday going? I know Pete's not here right now, but Mattress Demon. Okay, Mom. How was your Wednesday? My Wednesday was like the same old, same old. I had a nice day. It's rainy here, so I got a little wet, but other than that, I had a nice day. Class was normal. It's always good sometimes when things are normal. Class was normal. I had some. I had students come. I helped some students after class, so that was good. Um, that means they're engaged, and sometimes that's a big deal just to get them engaged. And talked to some of my coworkers today, and that's that. It's my early day today. I go in. I leave the house at 7 a.m. And then I get back noon 30, 12:30. Content warning is the name of the game she played. So the Bear fan says, duh, me. I thought Pumpkin was warning us, but looks like the name of the game is called Content Warning. Yeah, so it's not Lethal Company Mattress Demon. It's Content Warning, which I think is a funny name for the game. I think it's a silly game. It's kind of scary, but also I think it's kind of silly, and I kind of liked it. I liked the vibe the game gave off. I mean, it was like the monster looked like a child in a ghost costume with a knife. Like and the way it ran at you, it was just so weird. It was funny. But yeah, it's called Content Warning. So if you guys are interested in that, maybe she'll stream that again. Maybe for Halloween we'll do a special stream on Halloween, and she can stream one of those types of games with Content Warning, and I could make some kind of Halloween themed dessert or bread. That would be really fun. That's an idea. It's an idea. I love Halloween, so maybe we'll do some fun things in October. Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, I think there's nothing I can't think of anything remarkable about my day, which sometimes is good. I think that's a good thing sometimes. Yeah, when there's really nothing remarkable about the day. As an adult, you come to appreciate that sometimes. Um so yeah, but anyone else how was your day, everyone? The Bear fan is still talking about content warning. It almost seems like a friendly version of phasmophobia. I don't know what that is. Sorry. If you guys you can mention games. Mention games all you want. I don't care. I might not know what it is though. I think some of you might find that funny. I don't know what that is. It sounds fun, phasmophobia. But yeah, it's. I thought it was cute. I thought the content warning game was cute, and I do like that the title is a warning. It's kind of silly. But yeah, we're talking about my day, and then we were talking earlier about like what are locks, and I oh my god, Pete, he asked what were locks, and I think that's a good question. Just out of curiosity, the Bear fan, they have locks where you are in California, right? Like you can get it at a regular grocery store, or do you have to go to a specialty store? And whoever else, I don't know where everyone lives. The Bear fan says yes. So yeah, they have them there. So yeah, it's not just here. Anyone else wants to chime in about that? we have access to it. Yeah. Sometimes there's some things you just don't really get in other places. I don't know. But uh, yeah, I was saying before that lobster smoked salmon, and it is. I looked it up because I was curious. I said in a previous stream, I think lox are a Yiddish word. They are a Yiddish word for just for salmon. So lox is a Yiddish word for salmon, but now it just specifically means like the smoked salmon. And but lox and bagels and as Jews in New York City call the cream cheese smear. I'll put it in the chat. Schmear is the Yiddish word for cream cheese. It didn't really become a common combination until New York City, and it's really an interesting tribute, kind of like how pizza didn't become like a very common. I guess it's a common food, but it didn't become the same food that we know of it today until the Italian immigrants came to New York City. So it's kind of a testament to how immigrant culture kind of shifts once they move to the new country, including the food culture. The Bear fan says we have a place near us called House of Bagels. Are they good? I think you mentioned them before. I think you did. I think you said they were good. So bagels were taken from like Eastern European Jews. They're the ones who brought the bagels to New York City. But the thing is with bagels is if you look in Europe and even like the Middle East, everyone, like every culture has some sort of bread ring that is similar to a bagel. So it's like there are so many different things that kind of look like a bagel. The Bear Fan says about the House of Bagels, one of their menu items is called the schmear. I love the sun-dried tomato. Yeah, yeah. So I'm assuming if they call it the schmear, they're creating like I've seen that before. It's like creating like a New York City, an old New York City nostalgia when they do that, but it's cute. But yeah, every like I was saying, every culture like has a bread ring, right? Like I've seen like the Turkish bagel, the simit is like a bread ring. There's a Jerusalem bagel. There's I don't know the names of all these bagels. I've seen them before. Some of them look more like pretzels. Some of them are harder. Some of them are softer. But I feel like everyone has like a version of the bagel to some extent. So I mean, they definitely brought it from I believe Poland, Ukraine area, but I think everyone had a version of it. The smoked salmon was common in northern Europe, but I don't know if they put it. I don't think they put it on bagels in Eastern Europe. They probably didn't have access to it because it was kind of a rich, like it's expensive, right? But what's interesting about the schmear or the cream cheese is the cream cheese was invented in upstate New York. It wasn't even a European thing. It was invented in the United States. Not that Europe didn't have cream cheeses, like cheeses that were spreadable. I'm sure they did. But the recipe for like the Philadelphia style cream cheese that's like a hard block, which is the one we're used to here, it was invented in upstate New York. It's called Philadelphia cream cheese, but it's not even from Philadelphia. I don't remember why it has that name. But and it became popular for one because it's dairy kosher, right? Because Jews don't mix dairy with meat, so it's easier to have it separate. So instead of eating bagels with a meat, which would make it not kosher for other things, eating it with dairy allows you to eat it with different variety of things. So even in like if it's a real kosher bagel shop, real kosher bagel shops don't even have meat in them. Right? They'll have fish. Jews don't consider fish meat, I don't think. But yeah, I think fish is a different category. But they won't have like pastrami next to the cream cheese, right, a kosher bagel shop. There's not that many kosher bagel shops anymore, I don't think, like real kosher bagel shops. There is Katz Deli, um, but that's not a bagel shop because it's a deli. So they serve pastrami, but they don't serve like dairy. Okay, Mom looked it up. Thank you, Okay, Mom. Philadelphia had high quality dairy products, so they used that name. So it's a trick. Philadelphia cream cheese is not from Philadelphia. They tricked us. Those of you, I think most of you are not from New Jersey. I don't think anyone's from New Jersey in the chat today. I know I do have one viewer who comes sometimes who is from New Jersey, but I don't think he's here today. But everyone else who's from somewhere else, do you have like a food that's like kind of a local food that it could have been a local food that was, you know, created by locals, but it could also be an immigrant food. It could be a mix of both, like the pizza or the bagel, cream cheese and lox. Like it's just like a lot of different cultures coming together, which is common in the U.S., of course. So is there any kind of food that's like that? I mean, here we have a lot. I mean, I just mentioned the bagel, definitely pizza. There's probably so many more. I mean, the halal trucks are a staple now. Falafel's a staple now. So there's a lot of, I mean, in New Jersey, the part of New Jersey I'm from is very diverse and has a high immigrant population. So we do get a lot of different, in terms of food culture, we get a lot of different things meshing together a lot, a lot of the time. So that's a positive thing about having a high immigrant culture, is the different cuisines that you get to try out. But yeah. If you guys have anything similar, let me know. The Bear Fan says, only thing I know in our area is barbecue, Santa Maria style barbecue. So what makes that style of barbecue different than like other barbecues? Because I know there's like different methods of making barbecue. There's different sauces to use. There's different, I guess, meats and vegetables that you might use. There's a lot of different types of barbecue. What I was thinking to Bear Fan for Southern California, this might be an obvious one, but was not the burrito invented in Southern California? The burrito's not a Mexican thing. I think it's literally like an American Mexican thing. Because even when my husband and I were in Mexico, they didn't have the tortillas that were like this big, like the size of two of my heads, the 9-inch ones. They only had the smaller ones. I don't think they usually eat big burritos like we do here. Sonora, Mexico. So the burrito come from Sonora, Mexico. Then I was mistaken on that one. But I'm sure we made it bigger and better here. I'm assuming that Sonora is in North Mexico. Assuming. I don't want to assume too much because I don't have a map in front of me. But if the burrito came from there, I'm assuming it's in North Mexico. Is it a city or a state? Sonora. The Bear fan said Sonora is pretty big. It's probably a state then. My husband's from South Mexico, so he's from Oaxaca, which is actually pretty close to Guatemala. And it's actually the home of like mole, and it's famous for its cuisine actually. Um, yeah, Sonora borders the U.S. Yeah, so that makes sense to me. On my brain, I said it must be north. Um, but yeah, Oaxaca's famous for its cuisine, mostly like moles and stuff like that. So if you see travel documentaries of Mexico, a lot of them will go to Oaxaca. Like a lot of them go to Oaxaca, and probably bother the natives and stuff, but bother the locals, and tell the locals to make the mole. Because you see the women in these documentaries, you'll see the woman with the I don't remember what they're called, but it's like a giant a mortar and pestle, is what it is. But there's a name for it, and it's like made of stone, and they have all their spices laid out on it, like it's that big. It's like a table, and they're like grinding it like this for hours. They do that for hours, and I'm like, you can get a blender. You get a blender, but yeah, they're pretty cool. Those documentaries are pretty cool, and it's pretty interesting to watch the process. But it's like it takes all day for them to make mole, and it's hard work. It's not like when I make the sourdough bread, it takes me all day, but most of it I'm waiting for it. It's just chilling. I'm not doing anything. I'm not touching it. They're like grinding this for hours. So it's labor intensive work to make mole. I mean, and to think it'll probably be gone in a day. Shame. So the bear fan said, my buddy I worked with, his grandma would make mole and he would bring it to work. Nothing like traditional. Yeah, I think even my uh mother-in-law would just get mole from a jar. That's how I think most of them do it. It's like a little jar, and I actually think there's a grandma on the package. I think, and it's like a mole concentrate, and I do think that's what most people do now. Except if you're going to be in that documentary. then you get out your grinding muscles, and then you start to go because they're filming you. That's what I kind of think might be happening. It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But yeah, komal. Yeah, it's a komal. That's what it is. Just like this for hours. Um. So yes. But it's very famous for its food. If you ever go, when we went to Mexico City, and the food in Mexico City was so good. It was so good. I don't think I had mole, but I did have a lot of other things. I had I was still a vegan, but when I went, so they had so many fully vegan taco trucks. Like, I kid you not, just fully vegan taco trucks, and they made their own vegan meats. I think mostly out of soy and wheat. But they might have had jackfruit too. I might have had jackfruit while I was there too. It was really good. The bear fan says, I used to get cramps with a mortar and pestle. Now I use electric. I don't think I showed you guys my spice grinder yet. The bear fan might have one like that. I use that to grind most of my. I do have a mortar and pestle for smaller projects, but for if I want to make a spice blend, like a lot of it, I'm not going to grind it by hand. I use the spice blender, which I believe Okay Mom got me for Christmas a few years ago. So thanks, Okay Mom. I still use it a lot. I use it quite often, and it also grinds up nuts too. So if I want to make like a nut flour, I use that as well. Yeah, the bear fan says, yeah, oh yeah, for just a quick home dinner, I use the mortar. Yeah, I agree with you, the bear fan. I would only use it if I'm just like grinding up a few things. But if I'm making a spice mix, uh, no way. I'm not sitting there for hours doing it. I'm just putting it into the spice grinder. That thing is so good. The bear fan, what kind of spice mixes do you make? Because you said you have a electric spice grinder, I'm sure. You make some spice mixes. I made the other day some achari masala, which is an Indian pickle spice, and I already mentioned this on stream a few times already, but not all of you might have been here. So I'll mention it again. It's an Indian pickle spice, and it is so good. It's addicting. It's salty and sour and like makes your mouth pucker. It's so good. Oh, the bear fan says two different ones, one for chicken and fish and one for beef, and he calls them rubs. And how are they different? Like what? Well, you don't have to give me your secret recipe. You can keep it a secret. But if you don't mind me asking, what's the difference between them? Fix that. Um, so that's one I make, achari masala. Like I said, that one is really sour. It is also spicy. So it's not only sour, it's also spicy because you add chili powder to it. So it's like sour, spicy, salty, and it's just delicious. It's pretty addicting. Another one I make, although I haven't made it in a while, I think I still have some in the cabinet, is just a garam masala, which is like an all-purpose. In Indian cooking, that's like an all-purpose spice. I also sometimes make Sri Lankan curry powder, which is not really a curry powder that you get in the store here. It's more similar to garam masala. Like Sri Lankan curry powder is more similar to just a garam masala, from my estimation. But they have slightly different spice mixes. But it's not quite like a curry powder you'd get at the stores, mostly turmeric. So yeah, those two are similar. So the bear fan says about his two different spice rubs. One will use more chili spices, the other just salt, garlic, and white pepper instead of black. Oh, that sounds good. Okay, good. Yummy. I like chilies. So I use chilies in most things. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I've made in there. I think those are two main ones I make. Sometimes I just grind spices like this is why D-Mart should sponsor me. I know I've said this before. D-Mart is the South Asian grocery store by me, but they should sponsor me. I get my spices in bulk from a South Asian store or an Indian store. If you use a lot of spices, I really recommend it. And but I buy them whole in bulk because they last longer when they're whole. And then I grind them up as I need them. It's a little more work, but if you have a spice grinder, it takes like 2 minutes. Right? It takes 2 minutes, and you might be able to put it in the dishwasher if you have a dishwasher. I wash my hand, but it's really not. It's not a hard thing to wash my hand either. It's like very easy. It's like this big. It's not a big deal. So I recommend that if you use a lot of spices. The Bear fan says some are scared to use chili, not knowing that raw taste is 60 times hotter than when it is cooked out. Yeah, that's true. When it's raw, it's much spicier. When you cook it, it's going to tame it down. Once you get used to using it, I mean, I do sometimes use too much. I sometimes make the mistake of making it a little too spicy, but once you get used to using it, you know how much you can handle, right? Simo, welcome back to the chat, Simo. Anything hotter than ketchup is banned. Simo said, nah, I'm joking. How are y'all doing? I'm doing good. I just mentioned that I had a normal Wednesday, and I like when things are normal. I appreciate that. So nothing really exciting. How are you doing, Simo? How was your Wednesday? Welcome back to the chat. We were just talking about spice mixes, which I know we have. In my opinion, this is a great topic of conversation. So other people may vary. Munchkin is also eating lunch with us, as you can see. And also, my husband's right there. But Munchkin is eating lunch with us. That's so sweet, Munchkin. But Simo says, that's nice. I've had a very relaxing Wednesday too. Good. Yeah, my husband or Munchkin? No, Munchkin is such a cutie. And my husband too, but you can get a good view of him. So you just saw Munch. And Angel. Simo said both. Yeah, both of them. Yeah, say hi to Munchkin. He can't read, but he feels the hi. He feels it. It's coming to him. Say hello back. Don't be rude. But yes, Simo, we were just talking about spice mixes, because we both have a spice grinder. So if you have a spice grinder, I'm assuming you don't. I think most people probably don't. But if you do, you can let us know what spice mixes you make. And I was just saying, if you like spices, and if you have a spice grinder, which the Bear fan I know has one. Simo says we can't interrupt such a cutie in the middle of his meal. Yeah, we can't. Okay, he's coming back to bed now, I think. He looks like he's going to. But you should. I think if you like to use spices, you should get spices in bulk from a South Indian store and grind them up as you need them. I get cumin like this. I get coriander like this. I get fennel like this. Is there any other spice? I get fenugreek like this. Yeah, Simo, it's like a mortar and pestle, but it's electric and it works very fast. Like, not instantly, but almost instantly. Right? You put the spices in and you just kind of, there he is, he's going to sleep. You just kind of go like this, you hit on it. At least the model I have, you do this. You hit on it and it grinds it, and it takes like a few seconds. Depending on what you're grinding, it takes like a few seconds. And you can make your own spice mixes, and that's fun if you like to cook. Like, obviously the Bear fan likes to cook, and I like to cook, so we like to make our own spice mixes. But yeah. Yes, yeah. If you can clean out your old coffee grinder, the Bear fan has a good point. He said old coffee grinders work great. They are workhorses. If you can clean out your old coffee grinder and get the coffee smell out, that would work. Yeah, Simo said, oh, nice. I can imagine the taste is way more flavored. Yeah, if you grind from whole, it's a stronger flavor. If you buy it pre-ground, it loses its flavor faster. There are spices I buy pre-ground. It's not like I buy everything whole, but the spices I use a lot, I buy whole because it's cheaper and it's fun for me to grind them up when I need them. The only problem, I guess, is when I'm cooking and I forgot. Like, sometimes I run out of ground cumin and then I forgot to grind it up, and I'm like, oh, I have to do that now. But it doesn't take long, so it's not a big deal. But that's the worst part. Is like, oh, I forgot I needed more cumin, but I have a big bag of it, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, and you can even toast it. If the Bear fence is fresh, toasted and grinded, just the sound of it makes me hungry. I don't mean to make you hungry if it's not your lunchtime yet, But Simo says I just ate, but now I want to grill something. It's almost grilling season, right? Soon you'll be grilling stuff. But yeah, sometimes I toast the seeds before I grind them, and that brings out the flavor even more, like the bear fan mentions, fresh, toasted, and grinded. Simo, you had a snow day? Where are you, if you don't mind me asking? We had a rainy day today, but not a snow day. It was too warm for snow. It is spring. Does the weather know it's spring, Simo? It's not allowed to snow. No siree, Bob. Wait, Simo, are you from Boston? Oh, Denmark. Okay, never mind. So it was just a drizzle. Okay. So okay, so that makes more sense. Do you often get snow in April and May even in Denmark, or is it just like kind of like a once in a while thing? Today, actually, Simo, this might be a good question for you. I don't want to ask you too many questions at once, but we were eating bagels and lox, and lox are smoked salmon, which I'm like super sure they have in Denmark. They might call it something different, but I'm sure they have it. But in the US, it's common, especially in the area I'm in, it's common to eat bagels with cream cheese and smoked salmon. And I asked, because it's like a local delicacy, I asked if there's any other local delicacies that you might eat where you're from, especially because if it's a local delicacy that you eat on the weekends or is a Sunday brunch thing, because that's what bagels and lox are, definitely Sunday brunch type food. Okay, so Simo says the rain does creep into April sometimes. Not the rain, I'm sorry, the snow. The snow creeps into April sometimes. Yeah, I guess sometimes it happens here, but it's very rare. I would say March is the end of snow here, which is good. It is spring. I don't want any more snow. But it is rainy. It's been rainy all week. I don't mind the rain, honestly. I mean, it's a sunny day would be nice, but I don't mind the rain. Oh, Simo says I love smoked salmon. It's my weekend breakfast treat. Wow, all cultures are the same. My husband and I always say, and we learned it from my Aunt Elaine, God bless her, all cultures are the same. Yeah, smoked salmon here is like a breakfast treat. I did make a vegan version of it though. I made it with smoked tomatoes because I'm vegan, so I don't eat salmon anymore. But I made it on Saturday in the Saturday stream. It was towards the end of the stream, if you're curious. I don't know what minute it's at, but I know it's towards the end of the stream. And we made it on stream, but all I did is I have an indoor smoker. That's a stovetop smoker. It's small. If you're going to get one, just use it next to an open window. That's the only thing I'd say. And I just cut up tomatoes, laid them flat in the smoker with the wood chips on the bottom. Follow whatever smoker instructions that you have, because you might have a different model than I do. And I just smoke it for 12 minutes on medium high heat, and then 2 more minutes. And then for 2 more minutes, I turn off the heat and then leave it in for 2 more minutes. Is what I mean. Okay, Simo, I'll see you soon. You're allowed to be right back. So yeah, I have some topics today that I thought we could talk about, unless anyone wants to talk about something that's more interesting. But I was just thinking of like some New Jersey facts. My husband and I were thinking of New Jersey facts earlier, and he was mentioning something I taught him that he didn't know about. Does anyone know that the first film studios in the U.S. were actually in New Jersey? So the original like Hollywood, it wasn't called Hollywood, but the original film industry, which is now Hollywood, was in New Jersey. Who would have thunk? It was actually Thomas Edison was actually the pioneer for that. And he's New Jerseyan. And of course, 200 years ago? No, it wasn't quite 200 years ago. It was probably more like 140 years ago. My math might be wrong, but somewhere around there. Um, he was the pioneer of like film industry in the U.S. And the thing is, he had a patent on a lot of the film technology. So, the video cameras and things like that. I guess it wasn't a video camera, but the primitive filming technologies that we had. I'm sure it was nothing like a modern video camera. But, but he wasn't the only one. I mean, he was a pioneer, but there were a bunch of film studios in New Jersey, specifically, I believe, in Fort Lee, that were making movies, and they were. But the thing is, I believe it was actually fairly expensive to, first of all, in New Jersey, land is expensive, property is expensive, right? It still is a problem. It was a problem over 100 years ago, and it's still a problem. The rent is too high. As that one politician said, the one joke politicians from New York City. The rent is too god blank high. Yeah. If you don't know, look it up. You'll be amused. But anyway, it was a problem then. It's a problem now. The rent is too high. And the film industry knew this. So that was one problem. But I think another problem was actually with the patents. So because Thomas Edison had a patent on all this equipment, it was difficult for them to build new equipment and to use this equipment without paying Thomas Edison, who was still alive. I believe he was still alive at the time. Or maybe paying his next of kin if he passed. But I think he was still alive at the time. And so a lot of film studios ended up jumping ship and moving to bright and sunny California, where the land was cheaper, and somehow they can get away with some of the patent rules. I don't know how they got away with it so easily, though. Nowadays, I feel like you can't just go to another state and get away with it, but it was a different time. Maybe the law was just so hard to enforce, like, across the whole country. But basically, they all moved to California, and that's where the film studios are now. And I don't know, because I don't go to Fort Lee very often. So, I don't know if the film studios are still there or if they're museums or something. The Bear fan asked, is rye what is typical for a sourdough starter or just what you like? I remember you saying, but I forgot. Pumpkin says, hi, I've been lurking, but I'm in a work meeting. Just wanted to say hi. Hi, Pumpkin. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So the Bear fan asked about the sourdough starter. I'm happy to explain the sourdough starter again because I'm not even kidding. I love talking about the sourdough starter. So rye is actually, I'm not going to say it's not typical, like it's atypical, but most sourdough starters are made with regular flour, like either all-purpose flour or bread flour. And most sourdough starters that you'll see online, like people showing you how to make a sourdough starter, I'm saying most, but I see so many different ones, but it might just be the communities I run in. If you just look up how to make a sourdough starter, you'll probably see somebody making it with bread flour or all-purpose flour, and they'll probably be doing a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning a 50 grams flour, 50 grams water, and then they'll discard. So usually when people are making a sourdough starter, I'm telling you what I've seen. So before I made a sourdough starter, okay, before I first started, I was really intimidated by it because of all the videos I've seen of people talking about how to feed it, how to discard it, etc. It intimidated me, and especially because of the discard. I didn't like the idea of discarding some starter every day. And to be clear, for some of you might not be aware, I'm using sourdough slang here, and I should be more specific. When I say discard, I mean they take some of the starter, so they have a jar of starter, and before they feed the starter, they take some of the starter out of the jar and put it to the side, and that can be used for other things. Like it can be used to make banana bread or cornbread, like we've done on stream. But it's not usually like if you discard every day, it builds up so much that you have like so much discard. So you can't use it all, right? So that's what intimidated me. And before I keep going, Simo, to answer your question, yes, a sourdough starter is yeast, but it's yeast that you grew on your own. It's wild yeast. You might have a different name for it. I think some people call it like the mother yeast, right? I think I've heard that before, like the mother yeast, because it's it's the mother, and then you make the bread is like the babies. Oh, Simo, it's actually not dangerous. Simo's like, that is not Department of Health compliance. But no, it's not dangerous. Because what happens when you ferment the flour is that it creates an environment that basically, how do I say that? It gets rid of mold. Simo says, where is the FDA? It gets rid of mold. So it like keeps itself clean as long as you feed it, or if you're not feeding it, put it in the fridge. But this is how not dangerous it is. Okay, so in New Jersey where I live, they have very strict cottage rules. Like I'm not allowed to sell certain foods. Like I'm not even allowed to sell pickles. I have to get a special permit to sell pickles, right? But I'm allowed to sell sourdough bread. It's considered a safe food, right? It's considered like a food that it's very little chance. Yeah, I know, not the pickles. I love pickles. But you would think pickles would be safe because they're preserved in vinegar or fermented. And but sourdough is so safe that I can sell it. I can sell it at the farmer's market even though I'm a cottage bakery. And in fact, most cottage bakers sell things like that. Simo says, sorry, why pickles? Fermenting stuff here is very popular. Yeah, I don't know. They don't allow pickles. I have to get a special permit for it. But essentially, what I'm doing to the flour when I mix it with water is I am fermenting the flour. So how you make pickles and it creates like that environment that kind of gets rid of the mold, like it keeps the mold away and preserves it. That's what I'm doing when I'm mixing the flour and water, is I'm creating an environment with the bacteria and yeast that will get rid of the mold and bad bacteria. So the Bear fan says it's all coming back to me now. And the Bear fan says we're going to make some in the future and we'll post pics in Discord. Yes, please do that. I would be so happy to see that. And Simo says, the damn pickle lobbyists. Pie Toast. Welcome, Pie Toast. Welcome back to the chat. If you improperly ferment vegetables, you can give people botulism. That is true, Pie Toast, especially if it's things that are... So certain vegetables that are lower in acidity are more likely to cause that. And if you, especially like things like garlic preserved in oil is more likely to cause that, you're pretty unlikely to cause botulism by fermenting fermenting cucumbers or fermenting sauerkraut or beets. It's very unlikely, but still considered a risky food to the New Jersey cottage bakery license. But yeah, Pie Toast, that's a good point. There are things that could go wrong, even if they're unlikely to go wrong. Pie Toast says, I prefer people having a permit. Yeah. The Bear fan says, sorry, Pumpkin, did not want to interrupt class. Hello, good to see you. And we were racking our brains over the game you played last night, and you did not talk out. Simo says fair enough. Yeah, yeah. I mean, technically, so I have a cottage license, which grants me certain privileges to cook from my home and sell, but there's only certain things I can sell, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, Simo says I can understand if you're selling it. There's only certain things I can sell. To sell pickles, I needed something else to sell pickles, not the cottage license. I need another permit to sell pickles. But the cottage license is mostly for baked goods. Yeah, and certain baked goods even I can't sell. Like I can't sell pizza. But the sourdough bread I can sell. But main point is that sourdough is safe, is totally safe, and Simo, if you already ferment things, it's the same thing. And if you see certain videos online of people making their sourdough starter from scratch, I look it up if you're interested. And also, I have a blog post on my website about which is jerseygirlbreadshop.com, explaining how to make your own sourdough starter with rye flour. And that's what the Bear fan was asking about. So, the reason why I use rye flour is because rye flour has a lot of nutrients that the yeast and bacteria like, and it also creates like a thicker environment, and the thicker environment actually the yeast and bacteria will not lose its nutrients as fast. So basically, it'll bubble up and it won't deflate as fast. And that's good for you. I don't discard it at all unless I want to use it for something. And I don't get all antsy about the timing of feeding it. So right now I actually don't use the rye starter. That's what I started off with. I started off with a rye starter, and eventually I wanted to transfer it. When I started my bakery, actually, is when I wanted to transfer it to a bread flour starter. And when I did that, I fed it a 2-to-1 ratio flour to water, and that made it a stiff starter, which did the same thing. Pie toast, that's a good point. I'm going to come back to that, the tanginess. Because that's one of the reasons I wanted to transfer it to a regular starter without rye flour. I wanted to keep it like a base neutral. I wanted to keep the starter neutral. You can keep it a rye starter though if you want. You don't have to transfer it to a stiff starter with bread flour. But what I did was once I had the rye starter active, and I actually had been using it for a while, before I started my cottage bakery, I wanted to make it into a stiff starter. So I started feeding it bread flour at a 2-to-1 ratio. That means like 100 grams of bread flour and 50 grams of water. And when I did that, the starter is now stiff. It's more neutral. It's not as tangy as with the rye flour, but it's stiff, which means it holds its rise for longer. If you watch these videos about making sourdough, they usually use sourdough starters at a 1-to-1 ratio. And what happens is they'll be like, okay, feed your sourdough starter at 6 a.m. And then you have to wait 4 hours until the sourdough starter is risen to this amount. And then you have to bake at 10 a.m. or it's going to be not as good. I don't do that. I don't time it out. I feed my sourdough starter the night before, and then I use the sourdough starter the next day. I don't time everything out perfectly, and I definitely don't time it out 4 hours. It's more like 12 hours. And as you see, I've made a lot of bread on this channel, so it does work. It's not like it doesn't rise. And you've seen how big it rises too. So it's not like it doesn't rise. It definitely rises. And even if I forget to feed it the night before, I can take it from the fridge. It may rise a little slower, but it will still rise. I've never had a problem with my sourdough starter being super inactive. It's actually so active. In fact, when I lent a little bit of my sourdough starter to one of my husband's uh, coworkers. I was like, what's the word for that? I was gonna say classmates, coworkers, and she didn't put it in the fridge. She just left it out. I gave it to her in a little jar, and it was so active that it like grew out of the jar when I gave it to her when she left it out. And everyone was like, whoa, that sourdough starter is so active. And I was just like, yeah, Esther is super active. Esther's always ready to go. She's always ready to go. But yeah, going back to what Pie Toast said. Pie Toast says, yeah, I've noticed rye starters make my sourdough much more tangy. Yes. So the thing with the rye starter is it will create a tangier sourdough bread. Which for a lot of people, they like that. And I like that too. So that is good. But if you don't want it to be tangy, that's where I would switch it to a stiff starter. Stiff starters are sweeter. They're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum, actually. Like rye starters are very tangy and stiff starters are sweeter. And yeah, so those are kind of two opposites almost. But it'll still be a little tangy with a stiff starter, but just not quite like with the rye starter. Yeah. Any questions, class? Yeah, I go to my website if you're interested. I'll type in the chat. I am a sourdough starter advocate. I think everyone should have a sourdough starter. If you like baking, if you like cooking, if you don't like that kind of thing, then don't worry about it. But other than that, I think everyone who's interested should try making their own. And on my blog, there is instructions on how to make a rye sourdough starter. And I will eventually post. I should have posted already, but I digress. I am also teaching, but I will post eventually to how to make a stiff sourdough starter, which is the one I use now. So the Bear fan says, any way to get Jersey water for the pizza dough? I think there is. So I know this sounds crazy, but I do think there's a company that sells New Jersey water or New York water for pizza. Like, I think this is a thing already. I really wouldn't buy it personally, but I think it is a thing. Because if there's a clientele, if there's a customer, there's a business, right? If there's someone willing to buy it, there's someone selling it. So I think this is a thing going on already. Or you can move to New Jersey. Just kidding, it's expensive here. You're probably better off where you are. You can probably make good pizza in California. I think you can. I think it's possible. I do. So how I know Pie Toast just came in. Pie Toast, or not just, relatively recently just came in. How's your Wednesday going? How's your week going in general? The Bear fan says it is all the talk when they say, why is Jersey pizza so much better? They say it's in the water. I'm not sure the history on it. Yeah, the Bear fan, I'm not sure if that's true. Because I think I've heard that that's a myth. But then again, New Jersey pizza is better. And so is New Jersey bagels. But it could just be that we just make it better here. I don't know. There could be other reasons for it besides the water. But yes, I think that's a myth. I think. I'm not sure. The bagels and pizza are better here, though. I've had a pretty good pizza in Chicago, like a deep dish pizza. It was a vegan deep dish pizza. The Bear fan, is that just the New York versus Jersey? Ours is better. New York versus Jersey, ours is better. There is some. I'm sure you. I think I've talked about this on stream. There is some playful animosity. Sometimes not playful, but most of the time playful animosity between New Yorkers and Jerseyans. I think New Yorkers see New Jersey as like a garbage dump or something, and New Jerseyans might see New York as also a garbage dump, but in the other way around, as like something that's chaotic and too much and whatever. But um, New York and like at least maybe not Manhattan, but let's say Brooklyn and New Jersey have I think pretty similar uh, pizza and bagel. They're both really good. They both have good pizzas and bagels. Uh, I would I would say they're equivalent in quality. Someone might fight me on that, but I think that might be that's pretty true. Oh, Pie Toast says, I read a study about it being more to do with the wild yeast in the air varying regionally and changing the bacteria that develops in dough. That's so interesting, Pie Toast. Yeah, that's so interesting. Because that's kind of, what we're thinking about when we're thinking of sourdough, why no two sourdoughs are exactly the same. I mean, they'll all make bread, but the bread that they make might have a different taste to it. So it might have something to do with the wild yeast in the air. That's actually really interesting. I have to look into that. So that means that the company that's trying to sell. Oh yeah, thanks Zalo. Zalo is my husband. He just posted an article in the chat. If you're interested, we can look at that. But this is what I was just about to mention this again. The company. Um, it says LBK brings genuine New York City pizza made with New York water to Los Angeles. And now what's interesting here is I was about to say, okay, if what Pie Toast said was true, that means that these people selling New York City water are scammers, right? They're scammers. I guess they're still giving you the water, so it's not quite 100% a scam, but it's a scam in the sense that it's not going to make your pizza any better. So let's see what's going on here. I'm skimming through it. Oh, it's a pizzeria located in Studio City, and it's called LBK. Yeah, maybe they're selling it from the sewers. Okay, hello, Kelmio. Hello. Let me know. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's probably Kelmilo. Let me know how you pronounce your name. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for the funny chat. I don't think it's from the sewer water, but maybe that's what this company is, where they're getting their water from. That's hilarious. Let me know if you're interested. Oh, vegan baking is your jam, then you're in the right place. We usually do bread, but sometimes we do sweeter things, like we've done banana bread and cornbread. But by bread, I mean we usually do like sourdough loaves. Last week we made sourdough bagels, and the week before we made vegan pizza with a sourdough crust. So I use my sourdough every week. So that's my brand. That's my jam is sourdough. But welcome, you're in the right place for sourdough baking. What Kelmilo says, oh, sourdough pizza crust sounds good. It is good. It's delicious. That's the best pizza crust I've ever made, honestly. Like, I've made it a few times already with different toppings, and it's sick. That's what the kids used to say, right? When I was a kid, that's what we said. That's it. It's sick. It's so good. This is Munchkin. Bless you, Munchkin. He only sneezed once this stream. Bless you. Oh. Oh, he might have a hairball. Unfortunately. I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated on his hairball. Do you have a preferred... Camilo asked, do you have a preferred vegan cheese for pizza? If you can get your hands on Miyoko's mozzarella cheese, that one is so good. I'm going to be using it next week for something. So I'll most likely show you that. I don't have it planned. Usually I have everything planned like weeks in advance, but I don't think I have that planned. I think I'm going to show you that. Um, but Miyoko's mozzarella cheese is great. They even sell it liquid, which is specifically for pizzas. So if you get your hands on that, that's what I would try to get. That goes for everyone in the chat. That's what I would try to get. I am experimenting with my own vegan cheese for pizza. But like everyone knows, this vegan cheese thing that I've been experimenting with is going to take a long time because I've been experimenting with it forever. And I keep saying the same thing. It's like, I don't know. I don't know about this one. It is good, but I want to, it can be better. Yeah, the Miyoko's mozzarella is good. So it's way different. So you know how like Daya which I do like Daya. I like Daya cheese and I like Violife cheese. But I feel like they have a different like texture, I guess. It's kind of starchy, I guess. But the Miyoko's mozzarella I think is really good. I think it's definitely a notch above the Daya. So I would try it if you're interested in vegan pizza. But Kelmio, since you're new, Follow Your Heart. I don't think I've had Follow Your Heart mozzarella, but I will try if it's on sale. I think that one does go on sale sometimes. So I will try. We usually try the vegan cheeses when they go on sale because they can be kind of pricey, especially if you don't know if you're going to like it. But yes, Kelmio, you said vegan baking is your jam. What's your favorite thing to bake? What do you like baking? I mean, I think I always answer this question. I obviously love baking sourdough loaves. Which loaf do I like baking the most? All of them, I guess. All of them. I don't know, like when I go back and forth, I always think like the mango one. I really love the mango one. I just like opening it up and seeing all the little mango jewels inside. Which, by the way, Kelmio, we did that a few weeks ago on stream, the mango sourdough. So if you're curious, the video, I don't think it's on my Twitch page anymore. Although the shorts are, the clips, as on Twitch you call them clips. The clips are, but it's on my YouTube page at Jersey Girl Bread Shop if you're interested. Oh, Kelmio says we have to do cinnamon rolls, I guess. I'd say cinnamon rolls are my favorite. They're just fun. I don't make them often enough. Kelmio says, I do make pizza every Friday, though. Oh, everyone in your house must be spoiled. You get pizza every Friday? It's like when you're in elementary school and they have pizza Fridays, but they usually give you gross pizza, like cafeteria pizza. But Kelmio is giving them good pizza, so that's a bonus, right? Everyone in your house is spoiled. But yes, cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls are fun, and we can make sourdough cinnamon rolls. That is awesome. Welcome, Kelmio, welcome. Okay. So I'll go back and go over, some of you weren't here earlier, so I'll go back and go over some updates. If you were here already, you can just chill out or you can chat, whatever you want to do. But so first update, I did update the bagel recipe. Last weekend we did pumpernickel bagels. Oh, actually, sorry, we did rye bagels, blueberry bagels, and seeded bagels, sesame seeded bagels. And so I updated the recipe for my bagels with the rye and with the blueberry. I didn't add the seeded because the seeds didn't stick to my bagels. But I think it's an easy fix. I said earlier that I think I just waited too long after boiling them to cover them with the seeds, and that's why the seeds didn't stick. So I have to try it again. So I think it was just something small like that. But it's good that I figured that out now. So then later I won't do that again, if that is the problem. So we'll see. But I did update with the rye and blueberry. So if you guys want to try that, you can. They all came out good. My favorite is still the rye. The blueberry were good, but the rye is just so much better. It's whoever wasn't here on Saturday or Sunday, you can let me know what your favorite bagels are in the chat. I know I asked this question on Saturday and Sunday already, but if you weren't here, which some of you weren't, what are your favorite bagels? Mine are rye or pumpernickel. So that's that with that update. Second update, I will be streaming with my sister on Sunday to just for fun, and also because I became an affiliate last week. So it's already been a week, but we're still going to celebrate now. And also, I'll be making her favorite bread. She told me this is her favorite bread. And I said, we have to make it. And I thought we had to make it when we were streaming together. So we'll be making ciabatta on Sunday. And I'm going to try to do it all in one day. I'm testing it tomorrow. So I'm going to do a test run tomorrow to make sure I can do it all in one day. Because I want to bake it with you too. I just want to do the whole thing. So it's going to be a very long streaming day for me. But it will be fun. Especially because my sister will be here. So Kelmio said that I love a good blueberry bagel. And Pie Toast says, I love all bagels, but cinnamon raisin and blueberry bagels piss me off for some irrational reason. Pie Toast, wait, are you from New York City area? Because I have something to tell you, Pie Toast. You seem like the type of person who would think this is really annoying. So the other day on stream, one of my viewers was talking about how she has a friend from Queens who's like she made it seem like he was a bagel snob. Maybe I misinterpreted that and I took it too seriously, but then I thought it was so funny when she told me his order. This is the last time I'll mention it, okay? I don't want to begrudge this too much, but I think Pie Toast will get a kick out of it. His order was a blueberry bagel untoasted with blueberry cream cheese. And I just kept, I kept picking at this, to say the least. I was definitely roasting on it because I was like, that is the weirdest order I've ever heard, especially from somebody from Queens who says they're really picky about their bagels. It's like blueberry bagel untoasted with blueberry cream cheese. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. But anyway, Pie Toast, I kind of agree with you. Blueberry bagels and it says cinnamon raisin bagels are good, but they're not the ones I choose. And for some reason, I think it's like a cultural thing to have like an aversion to those bagels. Like we're like, no, like kind of like, no, those aren't real bagels, right? Pie Toast says he's a fool. Yeah, so I didn't want to be too harsh, but I was definitely picking on that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That's such a weird order. I've never heard of an order like that. But yeah, before I was a vegan, I would usually get a pumpernickel bagel with cream cheese and lox. Now, unless they have a vegan version of cream cheese, sometimes they do. I really usually get a pumpernickel bagel with peanut butter. Which, I mean, some people might knock on the peanut butter thing, but I don't really care. But I still think the blueberry one is... And I get mine toasted. I think that was so weird. Untoasted. Very weird. Okay. But yes. Anyone else can mention... I promise I won't make fun of your bagel pick. Unless it's a untoasted blueberry bagel with blueberry cream cheese. That's the only one I'll make fun of. You can let me know your favorite bagels in the comments. But yes, so that was my second announcement. My third announcement is that starting the end of May, I think I said May 24th. Let me check the dates. May 24th, yeah. This probably won't affect any of you. But I just thought you guys might be interested. So starting in May, I'm going to be restarting my cottage bakery. I've been kind of on a hiatus for a few months while I was teaching. So I have a menu up on my website and I have, some ordering instructions, but I'll add more specific details once it gets closer. So that's exciting for me. You guys probably won't change any of your lives because you guys aren't in New Jersey. Most of you. I don't think any of you today are from New Jersey. But that's happening and that's exciting. So I told you guys first. I didn't tell anyone else yet. I'll tell Instagram tomorrow because once I tell everyone, I'll get a lot of messages because my fans love me. That's a joke. But yeah, my customers do sometimes message me asking me when I'm going to start again. So I know I missed. So I'm excited about that. Kelmio, actually, I cannot deliver the bread to Philly. Maybe if I have a bigger operation. But as a cottage bakery, which means I bake from home, um, I'm at the New Jersey law is pretty strict on cottage bakeries, which Pie Toast did mention is for a good reason, right? There's a reason to be strict on cottage bakeries, but they are pretty strict in cottage bakeries, so I'm actually not allowed to ship my bread for sale. I guess I could ship it to my friends, but for sale, I'm not allowed to ship. So, and I really, honestly, I think it would be a pain in the butt, but I would like to give it to you, Camille. If you're ever in New Jersey, let me know. Let me know, and I will give you some bread. So, but yeah, Philadelphia sounds nice though. I like Philadelphia. How is Philadelphia now? I don't want to touch on anything sore, but it used to be on the up and up, getting nice. Last time I went, but I haven't been there in years. Oh, you go to a vegan meetup in New Jersey? Yeah, let me know when you're going if I'm free and you're close to me, I can meet you. I don't know. New Jersey's not big, but it's kind of big. It's a small state, but also kind of big. So I might not be near you, but if you come up near me, yeah, that would be awesome. So, yeah, so that was the third point that I wanted to mention. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, when I was there, I don't remember what neighborhood I stayed in, but it was in these cute little brick apartments, and all of them were like that, and it was so cute. It was so quaint, and I really liked it. Pie Toast says ship your bread with no return label from an undisclosed location. If you give someone food poisoning, you won't be legally culpable, only morally. Yeah, Pie Toast, I like your ingenuity, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, it's better though to serve, give the bread out fresh. Is my, I don't think that's such a bad law to not allow me to ship it because it is just better to give it out fresh anyway the day of. I like to do the day of baking, give it to them. Even though sourdough lasts a few days, like what if the day I give it to them they don't want to cut into it that day? What if they're going to eat it for breakfast the next day? Or what if they're going to eat it for breakfast in 2 days, right? So, I would rather give it to them the day of baking. Um but yes, pie toast, very very good idea. Sort of. Sort of a good idea, but not really. So those are the three things. Was there something else I wanted to mention? Yes, there's something else I want to mention. So I think most of you weren't here this weekend. Welcome. But I do want to mention, I keep talking about every day at time I go on stream. My sister helped me make a Discord, and the link to that Discord is in my on my Twitch homepage. You'll see a link to the Discord. It's pretty much empty right now. I don't want to say empty because the Bear fan's in it, and there's a few other people in it too. But it's not very active right now. It's pretty new. But if you guys want to share pictures of what you're baking, it doesn't have to be like baking something that I baked with you. It could be anything that you're baking. Like Kelmio says she makes pizza on the weekends. You could show me a picture, or not just me, us, a picture of your pizza. Um, or the cinnamon buns and things like that. And when you go in, you'll see I sectioned it off. So, I put a section for bread, a section for sweets, um, and I even have different sections if you want feedback, because I figured some of you might want feedback, maybe on your sourdough bread, and I could help you, or other people in the chat could help you. But I know some people, like I believe Pie Toast, from her name, I I could be wrong, but you correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you're good at making pies, or and I do also believe you worked as a professional baker. So maybe, if Kelmio is working on a pie and she wants to ask Pie Toast a question that, and maybe she could answer it in the feedback section. Um, or something like, it could be anything like that, right? And I say this because the way I created it for you guys. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm a self-taught baker. Right? I taught myself how to do all this. I'm not an expert in everything. I'm learning with two, right? We're all learning something new every day, right? So I think I'm pretty pretty well versed in the sourdough bread category. I like to think so anyway, huh? But there are other things that, I'm still learning too. And I wanted to be a place for you guys to come together and just, talk about baking and cooking and learn from each other and stuff like that. If you have any suggestions on the Discord too, I am willing to hear. I even have a suggestions category on there. Camilo says I like the sound of that. If you do, come join us. It's small right now, but hopefully it'll grow and it'll be nice for you guys to talk to each other and stuff like that. I'm fairly new. Camilo, today's your first day here. But I'm fairly new to streaming. I don't remember the day I started, but it was about a month or two ago. I'm very happy that you guys seem to enjoy my streams and that have grown since then. And my sister, of course, has helped me, improve my streams and with the technology side of things too. But yeah, I'm very grateful that you guys are here and you subscribe and follow and keep coming back every week. I have a lot of repeat people coming to view and I recognize a lot of your names. But yeah, so I just wanted to tell you guys again about my Discord because I don't think a lot of you were here, even though I keep saying you come here. I see a lot of repeat names. I don't think most of you guys were here on Saturday and Sunday, which is when I was talking about it, the Discord. But then going back to social media, I am also on Instagram. I post on Instagram updates about our streams and also updates on the cottage bakery if you're interested in that. Most of my Instagram followers are not on. I'll get the Discord link right now. I'll just send it in the chat. I will eventually have one of those bots, those creepy, stalky night bots that that are in everyone else's chat box. I'll get one. I promise. But my sister will help me with it. Not right now. It's not super necessity, but I understand the utility of it. But yeah, I'll get a Discord link right now for you. But yeah, like I was saying before, going to my own channel. Like I was saying before. Oh, now I'm on here. This is the utility of a Discord link. I'll just go to my Discord and do it that way. So I'm on Instagram. If you're curious, everything is at Jersey Girl Bread Shop. So if you are curious, so let's see. All right, I'm copying the link right now and sending it in the chat. Oh, the Bear Fan did it already. Thanks, the Bear Fan. That's so funny. If you are curious about my cottage bakery or you just want to see the pictures on Instagram, I also post the pictures of what we bake. Follow me on Instagram at Jersey Girl Bread Shop. And also on YouTube too, I repost all the VODs onto YouTube. So if you missed a stream or you want to rewatch a stream, you can go there. I also post shorter videos on YouTube that are instructional in nature. So if you don't want to watch the whole stream that could be hours long, you can watch a shorter video. And then what do I have other? And then also on my blog, jerseygirlbreadshop.com is my website. I use it for selling, but I also have a blog a recipe blog on there, recipe blog. So if you want to recreate something I made on here, you can go there and or you want to start a sourdough starter, I have instructions on that as well. So yeah, that's, I think those are all the updates. I think those are all my socials. And soon I'll get a Nightbot to just blast all my socials all the time. So you have to understand, from someone who's not used to Twitch, I actually think these things are kind of funny. So when I see the Nightbot on people's chats, I'm like, who is that? Who is that? What is it doing here? It's a bot. I don't trust it. And on one of my friends' chats, the Nightbot is always censoring everyone. And one time, I forgot what my husband said. I think my husband said the word. Yeah, that Nightbot person does talk a lot, a little too much, I think. Taking up too much of the conversation. But I think my husband said the word fool or something, or typed in all caps, and it kicked him out of the chat. So it's a tyrant, really. The Nightbot is a tyrant. So you have to be careful, but with the way you program it is what I understand. But if I did get the Nightbot, it would be for very like basic things, probably like putting my socials on or something like that. But yeah, to me, a lot of the Twitch things are funny. To me, it's also funny when the things pop up on screen. Like, I'm always like, oh, like, there's all these, like, things popping up at screen at the same time. I feel like Twitch screens are very busy looking. I guess it depends on the creator. But I feel like the ones I see a lot of things going on at once on the screen. It seems so busy to me. But yeah, so from someone who's outside of Twitch and doesn't play video games, and is kind of like a person who just likes to read books, and I don't even mean this as like a pinky up type of thing. Like I don't think I'm better than you, but I just mean this is just how I am. And then I go into this world, and I'm just like, whoa! It's so bright. There's a lot of colors, and there's a Nightbot in the chat, and it's very techie to me. It's just funny to me. I don't mean it in a bad way. A lot of things are funny to me. If you've been here for a while, you know that already. But if you're new, a lot of things are kind of funny to me. So, yes. And you also know, if you've been here for a while, you also know that I'm like have like this anti-technology streak. so there's that. That's why I don't trust the Nightbot. Okay, his AI is in my chat box. But yeah, that's enough about me. Yeah. So this weekend I'll be on Sunday. I'll start at 8 a.m. But I'll keep you updated on the time that my sister will join me, because I want to take a break somewhere, and then my sister will join me in the afternoon. But I'm going to start the ciabatta at 8 a.m. and I'm going to basically stream almost all day. I'll take a break because I can't be on the computer that long. It's just not going to happen. I'll take a break when the bread is rising, but I'm going to do the same thing I usually do. Like in the morning, I'm going to make the dough. Then once the dough is made and it's strong, I'm going to let it rise, and I'll take a break during that time. And then I'll come back once it's risen, and that's when my sister will come with me, and I'll shape the dough with you. I'll let it do its final proof, and then I'll get it in the oven on the same day. That's my plan. So I want to show you from start to finish on one day the ciabatta. The plan. And we'll see if it happens. So that's Sunday. So I'll keep you updated on that on Sunday, what's going on, what's the schedule look like based on what happens tomorrow. Remember, the sourdough is always in charge in terms of timing. I guess some people don't like that about sourdough, but like I said, it's a good weekend project if you don't have much to do. It doesn't take that much time out of your day. If I wasn't streaming, I could just do a lot of other things while it was proofing and rising. But it does make its own schedule sometimes. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, should we? I'll wait till Sunday. I'll wait till. I was gonna say, should we try to raid again on Sunday? No, yeah, it was Sunday. I did my first raid. I'll wait till Sunday. I'll do another raid on Sunday with my sister there. It'll be like a party. Okay. Right now I don't feel like we're at a party. Okay. So without further ado, I'm gonna end the stream soon. Does anyone have any like feedback, suggestions, questions? Did everyone get the Discord link okay? You know a vegan Twitch group? That's a good. Yeah, let me know who is the vegan Twitch group. Yeah, I'm curious. I've just on Sunday was like the first day I even was like networking because my that's hilarious. Stream beans, and yeah, that's really cute. Stream beans. So and all thanks to my sister, who's ex pumpkin right there, and a bear fan for helping me network. You know, my sister has been telling me to raid for a long time, and I just didn't do it because I felt like I was just getting the hang of everything. And then she sent me, I think on Saturday, she sent me a video on raiding, and I said, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I have to just do it. So I did it. And the bear fan was there to help me pick a streamer to raid, somebody that he knew, and they were very nice couple who had a cooking stream. So I'm grateful to both of you for helping me do that. So yeah, thank you, Kelmilo. Please let me know if I'm saying that right, Kelmilo. So yeah, I will save this stream beans. Thank you. So, okay, Kelmilo, good, got it. So thank you all for coming and supporting me and chatting with me. Before we go, actually, because some of you are new, the way my schedule works. Thanks to Bear Fan for following Pumpkin on Tickety Talk. The way my schedule works and will work for the next few weeks, I probably will change it in May because I'll have more time. So I might have different schedules, and I might change this midweek toast thing that I do today. But the way I do it now is on Wednesday, I do what I call a midweek toast, where I just chat with, I do it right when I get from work. So I get home from work, I set everything up, and I make some kind of toast today. Usually, hopefully, it's something that I made the previous week with you, but it's not always, but usually it is. So I make lunch, I show you what I put on my toast, and then I eat it. And then I just chat with you for 2 hours. I usually try to end at 3 because I've been at work all day too. So I usually try to end at 3. And I chat with you for a few hours. I give you any updates. I answer any questions that you guys might have. We just chat about, it doesn't even have to be related to bread. Sometimes I just chat about some random thing like technology. How I don't trust technology comes up quite often. And then, and that's the Wednesday. But then on the weekend, I do a bake with you. And every week I do a different bake. This week's ciabatta. Last week was bagels. Last week was bagels. The week before was pizza. So on the weekends I do like, those are the bigger streams and they're longer. And sometimes there's 2 of them, or I don't think there's ever been 3, but usually there's 2 of them because I do the shaping at a different time than I do the making of the dough. But the Wednesday ones are shorter, and I just kind of chat with you. I think I might change this one to be something more interesting during the summer, even though I know you guys love chatting with me. I might do another kind of midweek bake instead of midweek toast. Maybe we'll do a midweek bake, and we'll bake something like maybe not a sourdough bread, but we'll bake something, or we'll cook something. We could even do meal prep or something like that. That might be more fun. But for now, this is what we're doing while I'm at work. I'm not at work right now, but while I'm still going to work. So yeah, for those of you who are new, that's the schedule. That's why I didn't really bake today. But on Sunday, we will be baking. Oh yes, we will be baking on Sunday. So without further ado, I think I'll end the stream here. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope to see everyone soon. I'm glad to see some new faces today. And yeah, I hope to see everyone soon. Okay, have a nice week. See you on Sunday. Yes, nice to meet you, Camille. Please come back if you feel so inclined. Yes, bye. Let's put the bye toast in. Yes.